Alright, this is Vegeta8259 again, and today I'm doing another non-Gundam review. This will actually be my first Revoltech review. I have a couple of these. Actually, I think I have 3 of them. And this is the first one that I'll be reviewing. The other 2 I have are Optimus and Megatron, so if you want me to review those, just let me know. Anyway, this is Kyoto's action figure series where they employ little ball joints that they use for almost every joint in all of their figures, which you'll see when I get to it. And this is the Evangelion Unit 5 mass production type. Now, be aware that there are 2 versions of this figure. The, I guess, standard version has wings and not quite as many weapons. And this version, which they call the Revoltech Friend Shop Limited Edition, does not have wings, but it has a lot more weapons and some other accessories. So, let's open up the box and get right into it. Get that out of the way. And first off, it comes with a little display stand, as most, if not all, Revoltech figures do. And here's one of those Revoltech ball joints that I mentioned earlier. And this guy's got so many accessories, as you can see. I may have to make this a 2-part review, but we'll just see how it goes. And that's all of them. Alright. Take this camera down a little bit, move all these accessories to the side, and we will start with articulation, or colors, either one. Now, this is, like I said, this is an action figure, so you don't have to do any painting on this. I did a little bit of panel lining, just like, well, really it's barely noticeable on the camera, like around the cockpit here and on the head and the legs there, but that was just because I wanted to do it. You certainly don't have to. But, yeah, articulation wise, he's got a large Revoltech joint at the base of his neck, so it can go up and down. And if you turn the Revoltech joint, his head can go side to side, like so. And, of course, it can rotate on that axis and rotate on this axis, so quite a bit of posability with these Revoltech joints, just because of the way that they've got 2 pivot joints on each side, and then they've got this ratcheting joint in the middle that lets it go up and down. So pretty good stuff. Anyway, it's got the same Revoltech joint at the shoulder, which lets the shoulder go up about that far, and it can come down. And of course it can rotate on both of those axes. So, I don't know, it's not quite as good at rotating below the shoulder, although it can do it, it's just kind of stiff. But yeah, then you can bring the arm forward and go out, so yeah. Then they've got a slightly smaller Revoltech joint for the elbow, which lets it bend almost a full 180, not quite. It goes up about that far. Then it can go back about like that, beyond where it would normally be able to. And of course it can rotate on both of the little pegs that are on the joint. Now the wrists, I think the earlier Evangelion Revoltech figures did have small Revoltech joints in the wrists, but the newer ones do not. These just have a little peg that goes into a hole on the hand. And so the joint is at kind of an angle, so the hand rotates like that, which might look kind of funny when it's doing things like that, but other than that, it looks pretty good. I think they made that joint like that specifically for the colors of the other Evangelion units, because their forearms and hands are different colors, and that little angled joint would match the color scheme better. Anyway. He's got a large black Revoltech joint at the torso, which is probably the only thing about this figure that I don't like, because it's just really, really apparent. and it's just not hidden very well. I mean, as you can see here, you can see he's got this big space in the middle of his torso that really shouldn't be there. But it does give him some nice posability. He can bend down and back, and when you turn the Revoltech on its side, he can bend side to side like so, and it lets him rotate 360. So yeah, good posability at the expense of not looking so hot. Anyway, he does not have a Revoltech joint at the hips. He actually has two pivot joints. One that's up in the hip, like close to the crotch, which lets the leg go forward and back. Doesn't go back too far, but you can go forward about like so. And then there's another one you can see pretty clearly right here that lets the leg rotate along that axis. So he can do that and go back, and his leg can go out to the side. And the hips, I don't know, they're not quite as posable as the rest of the figure, but I guess if you really put some thought into it, you can get him in pretty much any pose you would need him to be in. Except I don't think his knees are going to be, what? Well, I was about to say I don't think his knees are going to be touching his chest, but I guess I just proved myself wrong. Anyway, the knees have the large Revoltech joints. They're black. Now these Revoltech joints are really big and obvious like the one in the torso was, but these don't bother me quite as bad because this actually fits better into the Evangelion's design, because their knee joints actually kind of look like that. So it doesn't bother me quite as much. And they can bend just about a full 180. And they can bend forward. And of course they can rotate. He's also got the same large black Revoltech joint at the ankle, which will let the ankle rotate and go up and down. And this little ankle armor right here is just kind of made of a soft plastic, so it just moves with the leg wherever it happens to go. And I thought this ankle joint was cool because it's like they just made this little shoe, and they just made the Revoltech joint just fit in at the front of the shoe like so. And I just thought that was a nice, clever design. Let's see, we're at 7:45, so I'm trying to decide if I should go over the accessories now or do a part 2. I think I'm going to do a part 2 because I don't want to risk rushing this review. So I will see you guys at part 2.